What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the lineup review show. This is a special show today. You know why, but it's because we got the newest Millie Maker winner, Mr. Hoop, coming on with us to talk his lineup and to talk a little football. So we got to start with Hoop. Hoop, what's going on, buddy? Good to have you on.
Yeah, appreciate the introduction. That was nice. And yeah, it's a surreal feeling. I mean, you know, have had a lot of success, obviously playing DFS, but when you hit that Millie, it hits a little bit differently. And it was a very exciting day. I came on the show last night and kind of talked about it a little bit. Didn't really get the chance to sweat it all that much, which maybe could have been good. Tambo was filling me in on what the sweat would have been. So it sounds like it was better that I was not fully engaged in the games. We'll obviously break down the entire team here as we go. But yeah, in terms of the sweat, wasn't really watching. So it worked out well. Started getting the text, started getting the messages from everyone, and knew I was live to win. And just very grateful for, the opportunity to win a Millie Maker. I mean, haven't done it. And really haven't been playing 150 teams all that long. Something else we can obviously talk about as the show goes on, switching my style of play a little bit. And, it's worked out well so far, I guess we could say.
Yeah, the process, definitely. We'll get into your process and kind of how you flip the switch, change it up a little bit. I got to bring my other boys in. Before I do that, guys, don't forget, hit the like button. I mean, we brought Hoop on. Dude just won $1 million. He could be doing anything right now. He chose to come on this show. So show him some love. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. I mean, what are you doing? We got all this free content. We got all these winners that come on here and give winners to the people. Hoop's core was the nuts on the site. If you're a premium member, then you saw the core. It was the nuts. You got BigT, Tambo, KFALik. Our guy Locke shipped for $200,000+ last night. We just got tons of winners over here. So make sure you hit that like button. But got to bring my boys in. Tambo, my favorite Canadian. What's going on, buddy?
I'm happy, man. I'm excited for Hoop. Like you said, I think I was sweating him more than him yesterday. I always love that stuff. The guy Kingberg that was up there, the Dupe King himself, had like 33 of the same lineup. It was all the talk on Twitter. Good for him. I mean, it was awesome. Probably, I mean, not a good finish for him, but he had a sweat, obviously. He'd won a Millionaire Maker before, I saw, on a 2-game slate. So I was just scrolling through like, is this guy got this thing locked down, or is somebody else going to take him out? And I scroll back, our boy Hoop is there. I'm checking. He's got Jacobs. Everyone else only has defenses. I will say, even our own Discord, it was lit in there. It was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of congratulations early. I don't think Hoop even knew this, that there was defense in both defenses. There was the Patriots D was right behind them, about 4.5 points shy. The other side, the Packers D, was only about 6 points back. So scoop and score, or, what's the strip sack fumble, our boy Big T, any of those things were to happen, pick six. It was scary, but I was sweating for him. So happy. I sent Hoop my favorite stuff. I sent him 2 texts that I got with him today. This is a good story. September 17th. So it's just over a year ago. He shipped a Millie, and it was a showdown slate, I think, for like a massive chop. And he got like 100K. And and I was like, congrats, Hoop. You finally did it. You won the Millie. He goes, yeah, only about 900K short. And then it was like 3 months later, he'd shipped 2 more Millies, one for like 300K, one for 200. I said, that unique is coming soon. And sure enough, he gets it after all the stuff, the uniques for his dupe bros, the dupe of Kingberg. So congrats to Hoop, Mount Rushmore GOAT. Love this guy. So happy for you and your family, man. Just an incredible job.
Appreciate it.
It's pretty cool too, Hoop. It's got to feel pretty cool when you got like guys that are rooting so hard for you, that are looking at things like 2 hours before the slate even ends. Tambo is like dissecting. Okay, if Jacobs does this and the defenses and Cortland Sutton doesn't do much, like Hoop might be live. It's crazy. And then the chat was congratulating you. Premature, by the way, chat. Premature. When the games are still live, let's go easy on the congratulations, because nothing worse than getting it like ripped from you at the very end, which we know can happen at times.
Yeah, that's when I started sweating it out, because I was at my buddy's, his kid's 10th birthday party, and he, like I said, he doesn't have red zone, he doesn't have the ticket or anything. So the only game on was Patriots Packers. So like when that game went to overtime and, you know, I'm getting all these texts and calls, I'm like, all right, I got to see like what dumb play could like ruin this for me. And then I saw those defenses right there. I'm like, oh, fuck. So now I'm literally just sweating for this game to end. And there's a lot of people. So I told my wife, so a lot of people kind of caught on to what was going on. And they're like, what do you need to happen? I was like, I need like nothing to happen. I need this game just to end. And like, they don't get that. They're like, well, which players do you have? I said, I'm like done. I said, I just need this to be over. They're like, well, if he kicks a field goal, is that going to hurt? I was like, no, just game over, like with nothing crazy. And obviously explaining that to non-gambling people, they're just staring at me like, what's wrong with this guy?
And they wouldn't kick the field goal. We're like, just kick it.
Yeah, just kick it.
Yeah, they kept running the football because they wanted to bleed the entire clock.
Yeah.
So like there was no chance the Patriots could get the ball, which I did understand the thought process. Like if we're not going to win, we're not giving you a chance to win.
Yeah.
But it was just like they gave chances for him to like fumble the football like 4 more times.
Oh, I know.
Probably could have.
I know. I was hoping for a clock mismanagement situation where the game just, you know, ends in a tie. I was like, I'd be happy with that. Like, give us the tie and let's get out of here.
But let's bring our final guy in, Kevin KFALIK. What's going on, man? Good to have you on.
Yeah. So it's been a few weeks since I've been on. Sorry, everyone, to miss the last few weeks. And Hoop, congratulations, like everybody else said, but I'm really excited for the first 2 things that you're going to be purchasing. Number 1 is going to be a new wall background. You're going to finally get rid of the circles, I hear, is number 1. And number 2 is, unfortunately, I did not get to sweat with you because I got in a nice little car wreck on Saturday and I need a new car. So you're going to be buying me a new car, I hear. So thank you.
Well, that's the one thing that sucks. Like obviously winning a lot of money, $1 million is huge, but then you come on and you got to be face to face with someone that still has a shit ton more money than you, like Falik. Like that kind of hurts. Like that's the stuff that hurts. Like, all right, yeah, I won $1 million last night, but you know, the co-host here has like way more money than I do. So that part is unfortunate. The hoops, Mrs. Hoop, like I tell the story a ton. Like she is very specific about the decorations in the house. These hoops are here to stay, unfortunately.
I
think that's a good mojo
too.
Hoops,
I think it would be bad mojo. The hoops are lucky. I think we can't take the hoops away.
Yeah,
right.
The hoops aren't going anywhere. And the new car, what are you looking to get, Falik?
I just need a car right now. Right now, we're a 1-car family until I.
Kevin, stop! Listen. Kevin's hashtag how rich. He knows what type of car he wants.
Hashtag Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. Which is we know you guys.
Unfortunately, I was on. So I got in a car wreck on Saturday and it was no fun. It ended up being my wife's best friend's mother hit me, which is so ridiculous. And so Sunday we had a baby shower at our house during the last game. Game was over. I took my medicine and fell right back asleep as I was doing the entire time. So it knocked me out, but I was able to enjoy like the last 5 seconds of that Patriots game. So congratulations again to you.
Appreciate it.
All right,
thank you very much.
Let's dissect this. We'll dissect the whole slate as a whole, and then we can go into Hoop's specific lineup. And Tambo, I'll go to you first because you were dissecting the lineup like hours before it even hit. So I mean, you can really talk about this slate a little bit. There were a lot of moving parts. We knew the 1 o'clock games were going to be very popular, especially a few of them. But you know, the winners of a lot of these tournaments and Hoop, obviously, they did one specific thing, which was overstack a game, and that ended up being kind of the route to the top.
Yeah, and great call on that. Hoop, the lineup, like I said, is damn near perfect. It was close. There's going to be an optimal out there. I saw someone had like a 253 or something. It's whatever. But the point being, what I looked at was this, and why Hoop talked about a little himself. He's evolved his game so much. Everyone thought him as high stakes cash player, head-to-head guy. That didn't go away. It's what he's added to his game, and this is a key example. So on this slate, JSU, everyone listening out there watching knows what happened. Anyone that played a lot of lineups yesterday, and anyone who used an optimizer or went around and saw what they were doing, saw that they wanted to just keep jamming all these lions into your lineups. Okay. So what's happening is this is where the sharpness, I think, comes in. When you're getting all these lions, what do you think people like myself and others are saying that aren't paying attention to it? I'm saying, damn it, give me a rule to get all these lions out of my lineup. I don't need 3 of these guys in every lineup. But when you reverse it back, and this, like I said, how sharp the move is sometimes when you're getting all those guys, the key is to then say, okay, if it wants this, let it have it, but then I'm going to have to overstack it. And that's where Geno or Goff with Penny, Lockett, Metcalf, etc., always put them in like everyone that you can, overstack it. On top of that, JSU, so that's the first move that I think you make. It was the second highest total on the slate and the highest total in a dome where there was no weather to worry about with two bad teams, two bad quarterbacks. Anything could happen. And the big thing was, Big T talked about this again, all our free shows here on this YouTube channel. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We did it yesterday. Hoop himself, Big T, and Crane on the Morning Wood show. Big T said it. He said, like, when you get a spot like this and you're getting all these guys in one game, sometimes if you just overstack it and get after and let other people make mistakes, that's what you can do. And I think that's what we saw happen here. All these guys plugged into one lineup together. You overstack it, you get the top score if that goes off. And the other thing he said was, even with the injuries, Swift, Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the total wasn't really going anywhere. So they were saying that this is going to have those points. They're going to come from somewhere. All these values made it work. You only pretty much could land on sort of Eckler, Jacobs, and one of the better Ds in Philly. So it's just the way it shook out. Pretty near perfect. Like I said, hard to recreate.
Let me just hop in and talk about like my thought process with, everything, because obviously it's easy in hindsight to say, oh, well, I did this, I did that. This is the way you should always do it. And that's not the case. Obviously, I mean, this was one slate. So my thought process, I guess, started on the show with Crane and Big T. I was going to be very high on all those quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. And then, we kind of talked through it on the show. Those totals started to come down, and the total in Philly came way down. The total in the Buffalo-Baltimore game came down, I think, 3, and the other game was like 4. Still played Allen and Lamar Jackson, but I brought my ownership on those guys down. And then, after talking with Tony and Crane on the show, Tony was pretty certain that getting off Hurts was the move. And so I just eliminated Hurts from my player pool. So I'm just not going to play him, just talking through it. Another part of this lineup that, was impacted from talking with the guys on the Morning Wood show is Austin Eckler. And I really wasn't high. I actually kind of talked down about Eckler. And, Crane circled back and he made some good points why he thought Eckler was a good play. So honestly, on the show, took Hurts out of my player pool, bumped Austin Eckler. By eliminating Hurts, that got me on more Geno Smith. I was playing Geno Smith for sure. I had him in my core on the website. I think these 4 or 5 of these guys were in my core posted on the website. So I was going to be high on these guys regardless, but I got more combinations of Geno Smith lineups now. In terms of the stacking aspect, most games, most slates, I would not allow this many players from the same game to be in one lineup. I always, go through the stacks on SaberSim and eliminate the 3 3s or the 4 2s, and the crazy stuff like that. In this situation, I made exception because of how cheap all these Lions guys were. Like, all those Lions guys were cheap. So I'm just like, okay, if I get a lot of Lions, I'm fine with that. So I allowed those 3-man run backs to hit my lineups, which is what happened here. I mean, double stacking is totally fine. You got Geno, Metcalf, and then Lockett. But the run backs, usually the most I do would be like 1 or 2. This lineup obviously had 3, and it was a special situation for me just because of this game and how cheap all those Lions guys were with everyone out. So yeah, that's kind of, how I landed on this sort of build.
Yeah. And just for some people in the chat, because some people are asking, how many lineups did you play? Who won 50 this tournament? And the point though is that his core on the website was literally this game. It was literally, if you looked at his core on the website, which is the core is usually, the main guys that you're going to be highest exposed to. Maybe they're all on your main team, whatever it is. That's normally what the core plays are for a lot of the coordinators. Like us, we usually are, they're normally the guys we're the highest on.
Correct.
And his core was literally this game. I mean, Hoop, I don't know the exact core. I know Geno was in there.
CeeDee Lamb was in there, which would have been fine as well. He had a huge game. So it was like, let me pull it up just because.
Basically, I've got it, Hoop. It was Barkley and Lamb were the only 2 that were different. But if you subbed,
they were fine.
If you subbed in this lineup, if you subbed out Eckler, Metcalf, and Eagles, you would have got Barkley, Lamb, and Cowboys, and you would not have shipped the $20 milli with it, you would have shipped a lot of cheese elsewhere. Correct. It still would have been like 235 or 240 points if you had got to it. So just a key note. I've been dissecting it even further.
Yeah, if you're not a member, obviously the cores are, if we're building one team, this is the core. Now, if you're building 150, those are going to be some of the highest owned guys in your 150, which they all were some of the highest owned guys in my 150 player pool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point of the core plays. We all give them out, and literally, like you said, if you played that core, you were probably pretty happy too. Even if you didn't win the mill, you were probably doing pretty good in a lot of your contests. So it was a great core. Obviously, it's a great team. Falik, I'll kind of bring it over to you a little bit. Obviously, we kind of saw what won the Millie Maker for Hoop, the overstacking, all the stuff that happened. My interesting part of this team was actually the ownerships on some of these guys. Josh Jacobs was projected. I saw projections of him 15 to 25%. I literally saw a range, but between 15 and 25%. He came in at 6%. TJ Hawkinson was around 20. He was fine. But Josh Reynolds, I saw him at 20%, and he came in at 11. Metcalf was at 5. I think that was kind of right on par. And Jamal Williams was right on par. So I think the ownerships for the Millie Maker is something we got to talk about, because I just think there's drastic differences between this contest and other maybe higher dollar 3-entry max single entry type contests.
Yeah. So first of all, I think that the important thing to realize with this is that the industry is starting to become a 4 wide receiver industry. The 3 running backs, what I'm saying is the flex position is no longer becoming a running back position as much. If you look at, like, I have the ownership pulled up from the Millie Maker, and the total ownership for running backs was 215%. So what that means is only 15% of the people are playing a flex of a running back. And when you look at the slate that was yesterday's slate, there were the chalky players. So you had the 3 very chalky players in Khalil Herbert, who completely died. He was not good. I was concerned about him originally the entire time, no matter what. You got Justin Fields there, who doesn't know how to run an offense and is struggling. In addition to that, you have a backup running back who I'm not sure is going to be a starter when it comes to filling in. That's what happened with Ebner coming in and playing some snaps. Jamal Williams took up about 40% of the ownership as well. And then Saquon Barkley was the other one who actually didn't take up as much ownership as I expected to. But what that ends up doing is it brings down the ownership, because people then have salary left over, and that brings in Jonathan Taylor and stuff like that. Who, again, at this point in the season, I will not be playing Jonathan Taylor for many reasons. Number one is, and it's been talked about, I am in Nashville, for those that don't know. I listen to sports radio, and literally all they're talking about before the game against the Titans was how bad this offensive line is for the Colts. The Colts literally have 3 players who should not be in the National Football League starting on their offensive line. So I think it's important to realize that going long term. Obviously, the game flow did not work out for Jonathan Taylor either. But yeah, I think that you're going to see that with ownership moving forward, and I think it's going to continue happening. Is 3 or 4 wide receivers is going to be the move. And let me pull up the ownership real quick on that. But you're looking at, sorry, hold on. 300% ownership on the wide receivers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where this ownership flies moving forward. But it's definitely changed. And I think that that's important to realize, is that
it's changed though, because running back as a position has changed, right? A lot more split backfields now in the NFL. There's not, the bell cow backs there's not as many of them. There's not even the stud running backs that are the highest price on these sites. They're in the 70% snap range, which is abnormal. And those are like only 4 or 5 dudes. There's like 2 or 3 that are in the 80s, or 1 or 2. And then the rest are lower than that. So there is no bell cow. I thought it was interesting though. Josh Jacobs for Hoop. He had his highest snap percentage. I think he had like 80 something percent, and he
Career
was just
high.
a beast. It was a career high.
Yeah.
It just ran so
good timing.
good. I mean, he
good
was
timing,
awesome.
Huh?
He was
So-
awesome
Hawkinson
though.
career
They
game
couldn't
as
take him
well.
out.
Hawkinson career game,
Yep.
obviously.
By the way, did you see that catch and run that he had, like the 60-yard catch and run where the linebacker, like he caught the ball on the side, he started running up the sidelines. The linebacker tried to push him out. I think he thought he did, so he kind of gave up on the play, and he just kept running. And then like a dude caught him. He almost got in the end zone at like the 5, but it was the most insane like catch and run. That's where he got like, I think it was like almost 60 or 70 yards. It was like his biggest play of the game. And it was absolutely insane because like they gave the linebacker like completely just gave up, thought he pushed him out, and he didn't. And TJ just kept running. It was absolutely insane. But
let me correct myself real quick. I don't want to give misinformation, but I played Derrick Henry and Damian Pierce in the flex position, which caused the ownership to be different because there is a flex position on when you download it. 227% for the running backs, 260 or 360% for the wide receivers. So because I played Pierce and Henry in the flex position, so it's still, you're looking at a much higher percentage of people are playing the wide receiver in the flex position right now. And I think it's important to realize that that's what's happening with the ownership. You're going to continue to see ownership for running backs probably over projected unless there are going to be some very clear plays at the running back position because people are playing wide receivers in the flex.
Yeah, I mean, the ownership, pretty wild. I mean, when you look at the slate yesterday, I mean, there wasn't a ton of standout spots offensively. I mean, and the one standout spot, we got hit with some weather, same as the Eagles game too, got hit with some weather. The second highest total on the slate in a dome, the quarterback is 6.8%, and the explosive wide receiver is 5.7, DK Metcalf. Like, you know, that stuff I don't harp on all that much, but Josh Reynolds, the number one wide receiver for the Lions, 11%. It just gets spread out so much. You know, Josh Jacobs, 6%. Like, is Josh Jacobs great? No. Did he have a career game yesterday? Yeah. So it's easy to say in hindsight, but stuff gets spread out. So, I mean, that's why when people really harp, oh, this guy's too high owned, I can't play him. Like, man, I just think it's such a bad approach a lot of times.
Especially in these Millie Maker contests, right? Like where the ownership gets spread out because everyone's trying to find leverage and they're trying to fade the chalky guys. So it brings the chalky guys down and you kind of know it. But I mean, Josh Jacobs has to be great in your mind after yesterday. He has to be like, you better be getting another Raiders jersey. I mean, that should be the first purchase.
Well, I got like 4 Renfro jerseys and kudos to all the people out there last year that helped with that because you could not find this Renfro jersey and I think 3 or 4
I was in Vegas for you and I
and you couldn't even you were in the team home city and you couldn't get me one. But I ended up getting like 3 of them, so I might have to do some duct tape work here and turn that Renfro into a Jacobs.
Duct tape work. You just won $1 million. You better be going to get like four jerseys for all your kids and your wife and you. The family should be rocking them the rest of this week.
The family's rocking this. All right. I sent the kids to school in their Run Pure shirts. The wife rocking Run Pure today. It's a Run Pure day. It's a community win. Obviously, I'm the one with that made the money, but a lot of people made great money yesterday. Honestly, I mean, look at. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. But the one thing I think that while you ran pure with Josh Jacobs and the snap percentage, I think you also ran a little pure with the Detroit. I had in my core Cephas, and I know that other people were on him as well. But like that injury to him definitely helped out Jamal Williams and honestly the 3 that you had because Khalif Raymond was never going to be a touchdown target in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he's not an end zone target. So you then ended up bringing in Tom Kennedy, who's like a 5'6" white boy. Like you ended up with like the 3 guys that are going to be in the end zone for that team for sure. So
yeah. The the other thing that I wanted to point out because we did I don't know if it was what do we call it, like a petty little not petty show, but we when people come at you got to own them, and we did that show last week to kind of own the people. Man,
I called it the shit talking review show, but
it was perfect. It was perfect.
Circle Jerk season part 2 coming tomorrow. By the way, go ahead.
That's coming up tomorrow for sure. If if you're someone that continues to hate on Run Pure for whatever reason, imagine waking up today and like, how do you continue on? Like, how do you continue on that path if you're a hater?
The format of the show, Hoop, is every week you're not on it, but you're on it today for a special reason, and that's great. But we review the Millie Maker winner. It happens to be you. Since week 1, we decided we would add, let's review last night's Showdown winner, which we'll get to later. By the way, who wins it? Our guy Locks for $213K. And all the stuff, all Run Pure does is dupe. He's a coordinator at Run Pure Sports and shipped it 3 ways for $213,000. So while it is a dupe, it's a 3-way chop for $200K plus.
Is $213,000 something you might be interested in? I don't know.
Can I interest you in this?
Say it right now.
Can I interest you in this? What the Chili's crew was down there? What, probably like 11th, 12th place. What you're saying though is perfect. We got to get on the shirts, but what's your saying with the whole thing about the haters? Like if they're
I said this yesterday. My guy DJ Khaled says you can either win with us, join Run Pure, win with us, or watch us win, and it just continues. There was a lot to watch at the top of those leaderboards yesterday. So,
like I said, if you're out there and you're still a hater of Run Pure, it's been a tough stretch for you, and I'll tell you one thing: it's only going to get more difficult for you because we're not slowing down at all.
And NBA is coming up, and I know JSU is already thinking about that because just going to be dominant again. I'll say one last thing to round up this lineup, unless you guys have more thoughts. But the other mantra, the other T-shirt hoop, it's not who you play, it's how you play them. Another prime example, when you add in 5.7% DK Metcalf, 6% Geno, 6% Jacobs with all those Detroit guys and those Seattle guys, you can do whatever you want and stop worrying about the one guy is this. And lastly, for me, Hoop, I dissected it backwards. The one thing I kept saying to myself last night is the reason I can't have this lineup is because I don't want Geno with 2 guys and then 3 on the other side. I want 5 guys. I want Geno, Metcalf, Lockett, Reynolds, Hawkinson. Well, did you know if you swapped out Jamal Williams because he's too expensive for you, or too high owned for you, you could easily slide in the matching running back with your defense, Miles Sanders, who also happens to be great leverage on Hurts in a weather spot that put up 32.6, which is more than Jamal Williams' 26.9. And you could have beat Hoop yesterday with that lineup with a conventional 3-2 defense, running back, a little bit of coordination, plug in Eckler and Jacobs. No one's really on them. Let's go. So it's all there, man. Just an incredible job once again. Love it.
That's got to be the company motto. The win with us or watch us win. I absolutely love that. That's perfect.
Again, though, I think that's where the genius for the contest, the Millie Maker, comes in. Where, listen, 48 to 45. It obviously, if you tell me a game's 48 to 45, you're probably going to want a lot of plays from it. But what Hoop said was the Detroit guys were so cheap, it made it a lot easier to accept, like, okay, I don't need 40 from all these guys. Like, I just, I need them to have decent outings. And obviously one of them did have 40, but like, I just need them to have solid outings. And if the game goes nuts, if they just do a little bit each, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then the unique part came in. A lot of people were playing Lockett with Geno Smith, or DK probably with Geno Smith. Not many people were probably playing all 3 of them in the same lineup. I'm just going to say it. I think a lot of people were making this decision on which one. So they weren't playing 3 and 3, which was the point of the unique ownership. Even though the ownership was a little high on some of the Lions guys, it didn't matter because the build was still somewhat really.
I think the key word that I like to use there is accept. That's not like I was actively seeking teams like this. It's not like I was saying this is what I want to do. Put my numbers in, ran some teams, and I was getting a lot of teams like this. And usually I would X teams like this out. I would say I can't have a team with a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, and 3 guys on the other side. This was the one situation where I accepted those teams to go through just because of the unique nature of the Lions situation yesterday.
There you go. All right. Anything else really, guys, with this lineup? I do want to get to Locks is 200 plus K shipper, but anything else here, Tambo, before we move on?
No, just what we said. And that's why, like Hoop said, from dissecting what's going to win to taking the lineup and deconstructing it backwards to try and see how I could have got there, or that is part of what we talk about. That's what this show every week is all about. If you're, again, that's the other thing about Run Pure. We say it all the time, the sales point. But if you want it, regular people like yourselves have families, some have kids, all this stuff, but we're still putting the time and energy into this stuff to be able to dissect that quick and pull back. If you did this to make it like this, that would work this way. If you can't do that, or other people aren't doing that for you, get in and join the movement. That's what we're talking. That's what it's all about. It's all there. We're all working our ass off to give the best content possible and find winners for ourselves on top of it. So keep after it. I love it. Again, congrats to Hoop. Just an incredible job.
Yeah, seriously, shout out to you,
Thanks.
Hoop. I mean,
Thanks.
anything
Appreciate
else?
it, guys.
Anything else on the process or anything from you before we?
I just like to.
Well. Yeah.
I have one thing to say is there's a lot of hate on Chili's, but when I was in high school, I used to love those the chicken crispers back in the day. So let's make sure we avoid, I'm okay with you bashing everything.
Kevin, I lived the street I lived on and grew up as a kid. You could literally walk through the woods and there was you'd come right in the back of a Chili's. And I used to go there all the time. I actually loved their ribs as a kid. Their ribs were good. I was a fan of Chili's ribs. I'd go eat some Chili's ribs right now.
The irony of the Chili's joke that what was Big T kind of threw that out there last week is there's a Chili's, I don't know, maybe like 2 miles from my house, and it literally just shut down like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know, what sort
Chili's
of sign
might
that
not be doing too good. Hoop. Chili's might not be doing too good.
It knew you weren't a Chili's guy, Hoop.
Now Run Pier's either going to put him out of business or keep him in business. One of the two.
All right, let's move on to the showdown winner from last night. Let's talk it up a little bit. Guys, don't forget, hit that thumbs up. If you just came on watching the show, you like it, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the subscribe, that red box at the bottom right-hand corner, because we have free shows all throughout the day, every day, pretty much. So if you like the content, you want to hear more, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, all right? Let's go to the showdown winner, though. Our guy Locks, along with two others, shipped $213,000. The lineup that Simon will pop on the screen in a second is Mike Evans captain, with Patty Mahomes, Tom Brady in the flex, CEH Wright, the kicker from the KC Chiefs, and White, the running back for Tampa Bay, who was a cheap guy that I know a lot of. I heard a lot of the guys on the show last night talking him up. So let's just kind of talk about this lineup a little bit. It was, pretty unique. Only 3 guys had it in the large field tournament. Kevin, let's start with you here. Why don't you break this thing down for us?
Yeah. So the big thing is, obviously, if people aren't noticing, is only having no pass catchers for Mahomes, and then the run back only having 1 true pass catcher for Tom Brady, and you're filling in with 2 running backs and a kicker for Kansas City, which I think is that's the big difference in this lineup, and I think it's a great lineup. Personally, I'd Cam Brate as my lock captain, which was the most hurtful thing, was him getting a concussion. He had 8 targets in the first half and was just completely there. He had 2 red zone targets, he was there. So personally, it hurt my feelings. But this is a perfect example of how to avoid putting in a team like Kansas City, who spreads the ball around, except for to Kelsey, where Kelsey was, in my opinion, overpriced for what his role is currently on this team. And you're able to fill it in with pieces that are going to be semi-unique with that. People did not like CEH. People did not like the kicking game for Kansas City at all, but being able to put in Mahomes without any run backs was the critical piece of this, in my opinion. You were able to really be unique. Rachaad White, I don't think, was a necessarily unique piece. As you said, a lot of people were talking it up. He was $600, and on at the flex position, 11% owned is a pretty high owned position. But yeah, but also obviously a lot of cap space left over. That's the other big piece, is he left $14,000 on the table for this lineup, which no way anybody would have done in this game, especially with the price that Travis Kelce was.
Yeah, so that's the first thing. Now, I mean, this lineup did definitely run a little pure with CEH catching that flip pass, which was one of the most insane plays. If you guys didn't see it, you should go check it out. Pat Mahomes literally rolls to his right, then spins around and dodges a tackler, and then walks up to the line and then just flicks it instead of running or trying to run in. He's like, I don't want to take a hit, and just flicks it to CEH in the back of the end zone. It was unreal. But yeah, definitely the unique part, right? You have Pat Mahomes. You played a running back and a kicker with Pat Mahomes, where most people are playing a pass catcher or two pass catchers in these type of lineups. And there were pass catchers that they could have played, right? They could have played Juju. They could have played MVS. They could have played McCole. There was a lot of different guys. And then the kicker, right? 10% for kickers. It's actually pretty nice, like ownership wise. So, and I would have taken 10% for the $600 guy either. I'm not lying. Like 10% to me is not that bad. Especially if you see the role being what the role was, which I thought that role was pretty good for him. If you're telling me that's his role and he's $600, that's a nice price to get both quarterbacks, right? Because I think that was a game last night. Everyone wanted, whether it was in the captain or not, everyone wanted both quarterbacks in their flex. They saw points in that game. So I think that's where it was. I was on the Mike Evans captain, so I love the Evans captain. That was my spot. But the uniqueness was definitely CEH with Pat Mahomes. That was where it came from. Tambo, talk about this lineup a little bit.
Oh, let me go off here, man. This is the spot. Shout out to Locks. Just incredible. I was trying to chase them down. A couple things right off the hop, JSU. The other night, all these five poor souls were winning 240,000. And at the last second, the defense get in and I benefited there. So I got my 38K that night. But I'll say it because this lineup, and Locks knows this, was, you talked about the CEH thing. This is what Showdown is. He put himself in a position to get lucky. He made a great lineup. You just broke it down and why it was so great. I'll talk more on that in a second. But the point being, the second last play of the game, maybe third last, actually, it was the lateral, right? The throw to Mike Evans, the lateral to White, that actually got Evans the catch and the 100-yard bonus. And that's what separated this from the White captain winning teams, because he got the extra 10 rushing yards and a catch and run on the next play that almost took this lineup out. But that's the whole point. This time it shifted the other way. I don't see no big media tweets about, oh, the poor souls that were winning this. Now these guys took them out. It's just funny how people go. That's Showdown. You build good lineups like this, you have a chance to get lucky at the end of the game. Next part, segue that. You have to wait till the last play of the game. Like, he would have still been sweating this to the last second, like Hoop was sweating those defenses if he knew what was going on. I know he probably wasn't until after, probably for the best. But the second part of that is the start of the game. Oh God, no Kelsey, no money. I should have just played Kelsey. Why did I fade Kelsey in the captain? Like, I'm dead. No, you're not. Evans comes out and dominates his ass and you win. Like, that's the difference. Like, you just got to chill out with Showdown when you're going through it. The lineup, incredible. Our guy Junior in the chat, I love this guy. He's always around, says, with a 3-3, the Twitter nerds must be fuming. Yeah, the other site said 40% in the 3-3. You can't play it. You're never going to win. Or you can, this is different than my normal mantra. It's not what you play, it's how you play it. He played a 3-3 with no pass catcher with Mahomes in the flex, with a bunch of salary on the table. And if you look at it, Evans, Mahomes, Brady, CEH. That looks like some pretty good love when you get close to the end zone, red zone, etc., where you're going to pick up some points if the game goes off. And then the two value plays. Guys that if you're not playing Fournette, why would you not play White? Projections liked him too, so get him in there. And then a kicker. No one wants to play this backup kicker. Remember Amendola when they had him a couple Showdown slates ago? No one wanted to play him either. Oh, they're not going to kick it because it's a backup. No, it's a backup kicker. A guy that is signed to kick the ball through the uprights. Like, so just perfect job. Shout out to Locks. Love seeing the team succeed again. Love that we do this review every Monday anyway, and it just happens to be another Run Pure shipper. So very happy for him. Congrats to Locks. And let's do it all again tonight. We're going to have all our content on Run Pure. Going to be going back through it, breaking it all down. I'm excited as ever because it just doesn't seem to end, and I hope it stays that way. I love it.
Yeah, it's the best thing. And like you said, the kicker that no one wanted to play. Nice. All right. So we got Locks coming in now, but the kicker no one wanted to play, right? Suckup and that kicker were like the same price too. So you could have played Suckup over him. Yeah. People were more comfortable with him. I liked Suckup too, but that's where the uniqueness comes into this lineup build. And it's just, it's awesome to see. Hoop, do you have anything before Locks jumps on and talks about it, about his showdown lineup?
Yeah, obviously didn't follow it super close last night. Really didn't watch much of the game, but just looking at this lineup, it makes sense. I mean, you got Mike Evans and the captain. These wide receivers continue to smash these showdown slates, and that's one thing to take note of moving forward. So you got Mike Evans with the quarterback, and then every piece of the Kansas City offense. You have their quarterback, you have their running back, and then you have their kicker as well. And then you have the cheap piece, obviously, in White that went off. Awesome lineup, and we have Locks with us. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, brother. I think you get the big congrats, though.
Hey, it's all right. I like that you followed it up right after me. That's perfect.
I was sweating the crap the whole time, too. I was watching at the end. So,
yeah,
all those laterals and everything were worrying me a little bit.
Well,
Locks out in the he's out in the forest driving around his Jeep trying to
Are you driving around the golf course right now? You rent out a golf course, or where are you at?
No, I'm in Wisconsin. I was on my way to GNC to grab some pre-workout and stuff, get a workout in before I head to work. But no, just an exciting time. Puma sent me the link, so I figured I'd hop on real quick, say hey.
All right, well, why don't you just give us the quick breakdown on your showdown shipper and maybe how you build, because you won 50, right, last night. So kind of talk about your process with the 150.
Yeah, so I won 50 a decent amount. I haven't been this year, but last night I kind of felt it because I've been heating up a little bit. So threw in 150. I just kind of upped CH on my builds. I upped Edwards-Helaire and I upped Evans on all my builds. Those were two guys that I liked last night, and just threw in my 150. I didn't like them on my first build, so I reran by upping a couple more guys that I liked, and hey, had one that worked. I leave a lot of salary on the board sometimes on showdowns just because that's the way you can win and separate yourself.
I love it. And what about like the kickers and stuff? Did you just like that you knew he was going to be somewhat low owned because no one wanted to play him? The construction with Mahomes and the running back, like no pass catcher?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really look too much into that. I knew Clyde Edwards would be a way to get different for me, and I know he catches some passes. So having him with Mahomes there was fine with me. I like the Evans just because Brady, he's just going to chuck the Evans. So him at captain that was really my favorite part of the night. So I had him at captain probably, I think 40% of my lineups or something. Okay. So when you pick the right captain, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it definitely helps in the showdown when you got 40% of the winning captain. That's definitely going to make you feel good. The Travis Kelce going off, like, what were you thinking halfway through the game when he was everyone was like, oh, no Kelce, no cash. He scores right at the beginning. Like in showdown, it's crazy how things can flip so fast, right?
Yeah, when I'm watching it, I mean, you always see in the first half, you could be winning nothing. In the second half, you can come back and win all the money. So I try not to, just because I've been doing it long enough. I used to tilt that way. The first half, I'd be like, I'm screwed. I'm not watching the game at all. But, I mean, that's how it works. One guy can catch fire in the second half, and you're right back in the thick of things. So when I was watching it towards the end, I'm not going to lie, I was sweating bad. I was like, I'm going to be screwed. I actually thought I was going to get screwed by some kneel downs by Mahomes. So once they punted, it actually made me feel a little bit better about it, because I was only ahead by a couple tenths, I think. So a couple kneel downs would have hurt me.
Yeah, Locks. So give us the shows that you're on this week. I know you do the GPP first look on Wednesday with the guys. What other shows are you on like throughout the week that people can catch you on?
Yeah, just on two shows. I'm on the Wednesday first look with AP and Craner. And then on Saturdays, we got the Millie Roundtable with DC and Snyder. So I'm on those every week. Nice.
So you can check out Locks, giving his thoughts on the slates. We are just quickly going to just touch on tonight's showdown slate. But Locks, you have any first look thoughts on tonight's showdown slate after the shipper?
I'm not going to lie. I had my daughter's first birthday party yesterday. Then I shipped last night. I haven't looked at much today, so I got to get to work at noon. I don't know. I'll probably dive in while I'm at work a little bit.
That must have been the key to yesterday, because I was at a birthday party as well, my buddy's kid's birthday. So that was must have been one of the keys to shipping yesterday.
There you go. Go to a birthday party and you ship.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I got to hop off here. Thanks for having me in, guys. Hope, congratulations, man.
Congrats.
That's fucking awesome.
Congrats to you as well, man.
Congrats, Locks.
Yeah, congrats, Locks. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, boys. So, final thoughts on anything with this showdown last night, and then we can just quickly give a preview before we hop off, and then we actually have the showdown show later with Big T, Whistles, JT, where they'll go in the full breakdown of the showdown. And if you want our content, obviously it'll be up on the site for any of the premium members over at Rumpier Sports. We'll get Hoop will have a quarter tonight. Tambo's got his slate plan attack pretty much. KFALIK gives out his content on the site as well, core plays and kind of his process on there. And then I'll have my core plays and stuff. So you can pretty much get all of that. If you're a member, go check it out. If you're not, rumpiersports.com. Check it all out. But
so one thing I'll say real quick, sorry, is it's nice from last week having terrible games in the showdown spots to this week having good ones. And then I just looked at the schedule for next week. We got Colts, Broncos, we got Bengals, Ravens. We got Raiders.
That's what I was going to say, not to cut you off, but did you look at Thursday? We go right back to shit.
Yeah.
Wilson, doesn't matter.
We got Bengals, Ravens, Sunday Night Football. Tambo,
I'm excited for that one. You know that.
I'm stoked for that game.
I'm excited. I'm more excited. I think I'm more excited and then also there's another London game on Sunday. So, which is Giants Packers. I think that the Colts Broncos game is really interesting, and people are going to hammer in Jonathan Taylor possibly, and then you got this Javonte Williams situation. It's gonna be interesting to see what DK does with pricing for this Thursday night game with everything going on. But yeah, I think I'm more excited about the game than you are.
Definitely
obviously,
you're way ahead of everyone else on that one. Bengals Ravens is going to be nuts. Last thing on this lineup, JSU,
Tambo. By the way, Tambo, before you give your final thoughts, Big T had a tweet that if I saw this tweet 2 years ago, I would have been pissed at him for it, and I would have totally disagreed with him. I am slowly starting to come around to the fact that Showdown just might be a better format to sweat out than full slates. I might be slowly for football, specifically for football. I might be onto it because just literally trying to dissect one game and exactly how the game will go and the full script. It's just very unique and it's a fun sweat. And like we said, things can change so fast. It might be a better sweat. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I like it. I don't disagree fully, but I will say this. Big T sent that tweet before he got rocked for 160K last night to negative 5K. So we'll see how he actually feels today. He's my boy, but I know for sure that last drive did not help him out. So it is fun though. Like you said, just breaking down the one game and it's little nuances. That's what I was going to have as my final thoughts. Mike Evans, the captain of the week. Do you remember why Mike Evans didn't play the week before? Obviously he was suspended for what? Brady was getting knocked up, and he said, "I got my boy Brady," and he shoves the guy flying, and Brady says, "Let me repay you, Michael," and just sets him right up proper on this this island.
Well, that was one of the reasons why Big T didn't have the best showdown night was he did not like some of those Tampa guys in the captain. So that's what happens though. That's how things can flip so fast when you're on the KC side, and then Mike Evans gets the Brady bump for backing him up, and he gets the 2 touchdowns. He almost had a third, Tambo. They missed they did a 1-on-1 at the 1 yard line, and he overthrew
it, but he went to him when I thought he was going to go somewhere else. So yeah, he almost had that third.
Hey, Big T might blame Hoop for all this, though, just so you know. He made it very clear on the show that he did not do much research for this Sunday night game because he was sweating the Hoopster. So I don't know if we need to.
That's fine. Friends sweat friends out, and when friends win millies, you have
absolutely.
That's an okay excuse.
Big T sacrificed a few $1,000s to sweat with Hoop. I'll definitely.
He'll be eating at Chili's tonight while Hoop's going to a steakhouse. Hoop's going to a steakhouse tonight with the wife, and Big T will be eating at Chili's.
Enjoy your Chili's, big boy. Is what he is.
That's all right. I'm going to Chili's too, Tony. So it's fine. I'll be there too. It's all good.
I hope Grayson gets the chicken crispers. That's all I have to say. Get the chicken crispers, Grayson.
Chicken crispers. All right, boys. Just let's do a quick preview. I don't want to spend too much time on tonight's game because those guys will definitely hit on it a ton later on when they jump on for their show. But Tambo, just why don't we start off with you? Just give your quick preview thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, it looks like a good one. Like I said, I like games like this. We'll see. I haven't dug too deep yet. I can tell you I'm going to be digging deeper than ever. I got a King of the Beach head-to-head tonight. So I shipped the seat last Thursday and ended up in a tie. So it's not shipped yet, but we're halfway there and it's just one-on-one tonight. So I will be digging in quite a bit. It's always the same thing, though. When you got a Rams slate, the Cooper Kupp conundrum, as I like to call it, that's what you have to make a decision on. The guy is incredibly expensive. The target share is there. The touchdowns are there. He just goes off every game. And even if you think you're getting away with it early, you're never getting away with it. He's probably like, I don't know, 15% or something high to be in the optimal in the captain slot. So you have to make that decision. And I think it's really hard to avoid. You just got to find ways to get different. Locks just showed it in his winning lineup. There's definitely ways to get unique and different. We'll have to see how things shake out throughout the day. But I would imagine Kupp is like 80% owned, maybe more on this slate.
Just
and
throw
obviously,
it out there.
Go ahead,
Tambo, but like way to get different just right off the bat. If you play Kupp and captain, don't play Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. And it's been seen.
Can I add to that? I've actually done a little bit of looking at this slate just because I took a few minutes. Number one is I think the tight ends are too cheap tonight. You got George Kittle, who's 6.6, Tyler Higbee 5.2. And then the other thing is it's going to be interesting to see zero QB day, maybe. Like it easily could be zero QB day with how the Rams play. And if they're leading early, the running back is the conundrum that you have of which running back do you play, or do you play running back at all? And then you have on the San Francisco side is you have those very clear weapons for San Francisco, and Jimmy G is not the one that you necessarily need when you have a San Francisco move. You can play Debo, you can play Kittle, you can play any of those running, and Jeff Wilson, all those running backs as well. So I think that it's going to be interesting, possibly building a zero quarterback day. I'm not saying I'm doing it for sure. I'm going to run the numbers and see what it does, but I think that this is definitely a slate where you can play zero QBs possibly.
Yeah, for sure. One other thing, Hoops. So San Francisco 6-1, I'm pretty sure, in the last 7 games against the Rams. They are 6-1. Now, obviously, they were 2-1 last year against Matthew Stafford. It's obviously different. They had Jared Goff before that, but San Francisco has had success against this Rams team, and they've kept games. Even the game they lost, it was a close game, 20-17. They kept things close. So I feel like they have the Rams number where even if they're not going to, I'm not saying they definitely win, but I do think it's a close game, division, battle here. These teams know each other. And for that reason, one of the things they like to do is they like to pound the rock against the Rams, and they run it well, and they just are relentless about pounding the rock, which can bleed the clock, which can lead to less production for quarterbacks. So it kind of does make sense maybe doing something like that. But what are you seeing here? Just first look.
Yeah, I mean, all your thoughts really line up with, the total that we have in this game. I mean, the total sitting at 42, pretty low, and it's a 1.5 point spread. So, I mean, they're expecting not necessarily a high scoring game, close. That's what I think you get here, a grinded out, tough battling game. The problem I had for Showdown, obviously I haven't looked at one bit of Showdown yet. I will get to it, obviously, and we'll have all our cores and content posted on the site. But man, there's not a lot of guys I want to play. Obviously, you look at Cooper Kupp, you look at Debo, but I agree with what Falik said. I don't really think you need to go heavy on these quarterbacks. Yes, we're going to play them. I mean, you're going to have Stafford in there. You're going to have Garoppolo in there, but I wouldn't be shocked if they weren't on the winner. Just my initial thoughts looking at this, there's just not many guys I want to play. You have that running back situation for the Rams. Who the hell gets the work? Who knows? Allen Robinson appears to be super overrated. I mean, everyone had high hopes for him coming in. The one takeaway I have is I don't want to play a lot of guys, so I will most likely have a very tight player pool tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It does seem like a game where it's going to be like one of those knockdown drag out. Okay, do I really want to play this guy? You might not love everyone in your lineup, but it's Showdown. That's going to happen. You're going to have to build some different things. You might not love everyone that comes in, but I will just say something that I think Kyle Juszczyk, always in these spots. I'm just going to throw him out there because I like weird, cheap guys. And Kyle Juszczyk always finds a way. If they're running the football effectively, he's in the game. First of all, they like to run with him in there. And he always find ways to get like weird, like 1-yard touchdowns or like little dump off, and he scores. I'm just throwing it out there, but I know that's going to be one of my favorite Chief guys, because I do feel like they will really try and run the football, keep the Rams offense off the field, which may lead to more of him. And if they're ahead and they're playing with a lead or it's close, he's still going to be in the game a lot. And they don't have I don't think they have a backup running back they trust. They have Jeff Wilson, and then they have the young kid Mason, who was used last game, but not as much as we thought. So Kyle Juszczyk might play on third downs a little bit as like the third down back a little bit more as well. So I think he makes sense as a cheap guy. I don't want to give out too much because those guys will go in depth on it later. But anything else from this game from anyone before we hop off?
Just a real quick injury notes. The Rams are going to be without their starting left guard and their starting center. So I think that's some pretty important news, and really thinking about what that means to the team. Definitely need to consider that. And then there's some injuries that are questionable. Like the Rams have no other really questionable players. If they're all out or in. San Francisco has a handful of questionable players on the defensive side of the ball that we need to keep an eye on.
Without Trent Williams as well, right?
Yeah. He's already out. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So that's still kind of big, and maybe that helps with a spot like what JSU was talking about there, where they have to like sort of dump it off a little bit more. You see that stuff when they're getting after them a bit. So
but you have Tyler Croft who's out, and Ross Dwelly who's questionable. So if Ross Dwelly's out, like that's definitely going to impact guys like, as you just said, Kyle Juszczyk is going to be a more interesting play to me, because they run the two tight end or the tight end and fullback quite often. So you could see Kittle and Juszczyk on the field together quite a bit instead of it being Dwelly instead.
Yeah, Trent Williams is definitely a bigger loss, but hey, we'll have to see when this game goes down. Hoop, any final thoughts? I mean, thanks for coming out, hanging out with us, talking about your winner. I know when you win that type of money, there's probably other things you could be doing right now, but we appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, no, obviously thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for all the kind words, and everyone out there congratulating in the chat. I appreciate it. It truly means a ton to me and my family. A huge win, life-changing win, obviously super exciting stuff. But the motto for us is, and always has been, like, we keep grinding on. I mean, we're not gonna slow down. We're not gonna take slates off. We grind away here at Rumpier Sports. We'll have content for basically every slate, every sport that DraftKings offers. We have it covered. So we march on and continue down the path of success that so many people here at Rumpier Sports have had. And as Tambo said, for the haters out there, you say it, Tambo. You say it much better than me.
You can win with us or watch us win.
Love it.
That's the one. Yeah, we're gonna get it posted out. We'll get it out there.
You're gonna eventually just say it as Hoop's about to think of it. You're just gonna start naturally saying it like on cue as he starts thinking of it. Kevin, final thoughts?
Yeah, there is because it's a free show. I'm not on free shows quite very often. I will make sure that the people who have not signed up yet, it was posted in the chat and said many of times by the Hoopster that there's going to be the largest free roll that RPS has ever seen is going to be this next weekend. So maybe a good time to get in. You can get in now and be a member of RPS and enjoy a free roll from Hoop. But he is very much quoted. This is going to be the largest free roll RPS has ever seen. I suggest that one of the prizes be an ice maker. JSU has not told anybody how he's enjoying the ice maker, but I do think that should be at least one of the prizes.
He was late for a show the other day because he had to reload the water. He forgot. No.
I when Dunkel was talking, I had to reload the water so I could get my ice ready for when I was done with the show. That's what happened. But I will say, Reggie is enjoying his ice cube maker. He loves it. He loves the cubes, and my wife loves it. So you've already won. I think it's fine too. It's great. but my wife loves it and my dog loves it. So literally,
that's the more important part. Now that you're married, that's the much more important part.
No, seriously, right? Like my wife was like, this is awesome. Before we even plugged it in, she was like, this is going to be awesome. I was like, oh, okay. Then this gift is great. If my wife likes it, then it was a good gift no matter what. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we appreciate you guys hanging out. If you want more of this content, you want more from Hoop, Tambo, KFALIK, you want all their content, we got it over at Rumpier Sports. Sign up, become a member, get into this free roll that Hoop keeps talking about. We're talking it up, but it's going to happen, and everyone likes free money, right, Hoop? Like,
you have to be a member, though. That's the one stipulation. You have to be a member at Rumpier to be eligible. We're going to obviously figure out the schematics of it all, and it'll be for next week, week 5 NFL season for all Rumpier members.
There we go. Week 5 NFL season. Sign up now. Join the movement. Rumpier with us. Guys, thank you for hanging out. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, that red box at the bottom right-hand corner. For me, JSU, Big Tambo, my favorite Canadian, Kevin KFALIK, and the new Millie Maker winner, Hoopster. We'll see you guys later. Simon wraps up.